If they can do what they can do to me and other members of Congress, imagine what they're doing in the dark.
So Mehdi Hasan just interviewed Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, who's facing 17 years in prison for doing congressional oversight at an ICE facility. This isn't just prosecutorial overreach, it's Trump weaponizing the DOJ to destroy legislative oversight entirely. We're watching fascism in real time.
As members of Congress, we have the statutory right to show up to any ICE detention facility unannounced. They tried to stop us from going in to have oversight.
This statutory right comes from appropriations language passed specifically because ICE operates in the shadows. The McGovern Amendment requires detention facilities to allow congressional visits. When the executive branch blocks legislative oversight, that's a constitutional crisis. Separation of powers breaking down completely.
When we arrived there to do our oversight visit, which number one, we were going there because this facility had just opened up literally a couple of days before. We had gotten reports that family members were not able to go see their family inside. Lawyers told us that they were not able to access their clients. I mean, and also too, our communities were just in fear because Trump literally in just a few days of his second term had terrorized.
These aren't bureaucratic inconveniences, they're constitutional violations. The Sixth Amendment guarantees right to counsel. The First Amendment protects family contact. Trump's efficiency means stripping due process protections that took decades to establish. This is systematic dismantling of legal safeguards.
Literally, cities in New Jersey with ICE showing up, causing havoc that we now see across the country. Immediately, they tried to stop us from going in to have oversight. They told us we could not come in.
When ICE blocks congressional oversight, they're essentially declaring independence from legislative authority. This is exactly how democratic institutions collapse. The executive branch refuses accountability to Congress. We've seen this playbook in Hungary, Turkey, and now here.
And it was later, you were not arrested at the time, and yet in the days that followed, you were charged with, quote, assaulting, impeding, and interfering with law enforcement.
Correct.
Were you surprised at the time gap?
Oh, absolutely. And I found that out via Twitter. I didn't even know these charges had happened until, then Alina Habba, our acting U.S. attorney, had tweeted this out.
The delayed charges are the smoking gun here. If this was legitimate law enforcement, arrests happen immediately. Waiting days to file charges after consulting with Trump appointees, that's political weaponization, not justice. This timeline screams calculated targeting.
It's still shocking to know that I'm going through this for doing my job. Absolutely. I do think, I was very upset about what had happened that day outside. I was physically assaulted outside of the facility. And I told them right then and there, I was going to press, charges out.
Classic Darvo, deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. She gets physically assaulted doing oversight, then gets charged with assault. Meanwhile, the actual perpetrators face zero consequences. This is textbook authoritarian gaslighting to criminalize legitimate government functions.
I was going to file a complaint against them because the way we were treated that day, it was unbelievable. Members of Congress trying to show up to simply do our job was basically treated like crap.
It's symbolic of the administration's entire approach
Correct.
to the legislative branch, which they don't see as a co-equal branch of government.
Of course. They have no respect for us or Congress, Senate.
Trump's entire approach treats Congress like a subordinate department, not a co-equal branch. Orban did this in Hungary, systematically undermining legislative oversight until parliament became a rubber stamp. This isn't partisan politics, it's constitutional demolition.
That obviously threatens the Trump administration. They don't want people to see what's happening in these centers.
Correct. They want to live in the dark, and that's the bottom line.
Legitimate government operations don't require hiding from oversight. When they block congressional visits, they're admitting these facilities can't withstand scrutiny. Abu Ghraib happened because there was no oversight. Secrecy enables abuse. That's why transparency matters constitutionally.
Of body slamming.
Slamming an agent.
Yeah.
What do you say to them?
I had only saw a body slam before in my life on wrestling, like WWE.
The body slamming charge is pure propaganda theater. They're using wrestling terminology to make congressional oversight sound like violent assault. This language is designed to discredit her in the media while criminalizing basic legislative functions. It's gaslighting on steroids.
And it's worse than the cruelty, right? Because they're trying to make an example of you so that
Correct.
other members of Congress
Correct.
will not do what you did.
Exactly.
Exactly right. This is about creating a chilling effect. Target one member aggressively and others will think twice before exercising oversight. Stalin used this strategy with show trials. Make examples of prominent figures to terrorize everyone else into compliance.
God forbid, if they pull off what they pull off, 17 years in prison?
Yep.
Insane.
That's the maximum sentence.
17 years for congressional oversight, while January 6th rioters got months. The sentencing disparity reveals everything. Violent insurrection gets slaps on the wrist, but challenging Trump's deportation machine gets decades. This is legalized fascism through prosecutorial abuse.
Maybe I would have been a less louder, I don't know, at the facility, but I don't have any regrets in going to defend the people that I represent in the 10th Congressional District. So I would go back again, just like I've gone back.
This is real courage, returning to do oversight despite facing 17 years in prison. Most politicians would cave under this pressure, but she's still fighting for her constituents. This is what principled resistance looks like when democracy is under attack.
Do you think ICE should be abolished?
Absolutely, 150%. They've been operating horrifically, and we cannot allow that. And they've terrorized American citizens. So the same people that they claim to want to protect.
ICE has no real accountability mechanisms and routinely violates constitutional rights, even targeting American citizens. They operate like a rogue agency with impunity. Abolishing ICE isn't radical. It's necessary for restoring constitutional governance and protecting civil liberties.
I agree. I think a lot of people have to be prosecuted and held accountable, including Kristi Noem, and Pam Bondi. I think that they truly do. They've done unethical things. I think that they've committed crimes, and I think that they have to be held responsible for those.
And when they scream about political prosecutions, you can say, hey, been there, done that.
Correct.
Republicans weaponize the DOJ first, so they forfeit any right to complain about political prosecution. When Democrats eventually prosecute Trump's crimes, this case becomes Exhibit A. They started this war on legal institutions, not us.
Do you believe the Democratic Party, especially in Congress, is meeting this moment, is rising to the challenge of pushing back against Trumpian fascism?
Yeah, well, I can't speak on behalf of the entire party. I think definitely these times right now call for unusual things and unusual behavior and unusual leadership, to say the least.
She's diplomatically saying Democratic leadership isn't meeting the fascist moment. While she faces 17 years for oversight, party leaders issue weak statements. The contrast is stark. She's showing real resistance while leadership plays by old rules.
But at the end of the day, I want to be on the right side of history and on what's on the side of right versus being on the side of wrong. I think in a moment right now, Hakeem's doing the best, that he can do underneath these certain situations. I think this situation that we're facing is truly difficult. And I think many people are not, even folks who've been in the House for a very long time underneath the first Trump administration, say that this time is different. And
Trump 2.0 came back with a vengeance, targeting oversight immediately and systematically. The first Trump term was chaotic. This one is methodical fascism. Democratic leadership still hasn't grasped that normal political responses won't work against authoritarian tactics.
Even just the week before last, we had Rosa DeLauro introduce a resolution to basically pull ICE out, because why are Republicans choosing to hurt everybody over the dysfunction of ICE? And Republicans refuse to do that, which it just says they choose this cruelty and this behavior of ICE to be able to continue to do what they're doing over actually doing what's right, which is paying TSA workers and paying, funding FEMA and other agencies that work hard and deserve to be paid. And
Republicans would rather shut down government than defund ICE. They're choosing deportation cruelty over paying TSA workers and FEMA. This isn't fiscal responsibility. It's prioritizing white supremacist enforcement over basic government functions. The cruelty is the point.
And so that's why you see these censure attacks and it being allowed to happen. And then I see people like Randy Fine and Andy, who are disgusting humans, and true bigots, to be able to operate like that.
The double standard is institutional white supremacy in action. Progressive women of color face censure for oversight, while white Republican bigots face zero consequences for actual racism. This isn't coincidence. It's the system working exactly as designed.